Well, hello everyone. I'm not so sure if you guys can hear the stuffy microphone just now, but it was my cat rubbing her head against it. But anyways, it's me, Kai, and welcome back to my channel and welcome to a brand new speed build video. Today we are going to be building in the world of Brightchester, which is the world that came with the Discovery University pack. And today we are going to be building a couple of houses on the same lot. So basically the idea that I had was kind of this like orientation of townhouses. And basically on this lot there are two townhouses that are completely opposite of each other. One of them is a modern concept and the other one is more of a traditional Victorian house, and I quite liked how it turned out and I hope you guys will like it too. But anyways, for each of the houses the layout is basically the same. It's just that on the third level where the number of rooms are, for the Victorian house it is only consisting of one single bedroom, and I imagine that there is a couple living here with their big dog. And then, oh yeah, speaking about that, I just realized that I forgot to put in a couple of pet bowls for their house, but I think you guys can add it manually for yourself after you download this house. But for the other one, which is the modern concept, basically the house consists of two bedrooms instead of one, because it was quite easier for me to place rooms around the build. Because as you can see for the Victorian house over here that we are starting on, the windows of the front section are more triangular than they are squarish. So for the modern build it will be a squarish type of layout for the front part, which you will see after this. But anyways, for the color scheme of the general concept, basically for the traditional I was aiming for more of a colorful and lighter color scheme compared to the modern one, because the modern one consists of a lot of darker colors such as muted naturals and also dark browns and also just the plain modern colors that you usually see in modern builds. And I quite had a lot of fun figuring out the colors that I wanted to use also, with to make sure that they are basically cohesive with the interior as well. So you will see that for the interior basically it's all the same for both houses. It's just that the style of it is different. So basically modern is modern and also traditional is traditional. But anyways, I had trouble placing the windows and figuring out which windows I wanted to use for the traditional Victorian type of house. But I eventually went with the base game windows that are kind of panel. I think I would say it like that. I'm not so sure what you call it, but it has these columns, and one window consists of two glass panels. And I decided to combine it with the more Victorian looking windows that came with the either Strangerville or Get to Work. No, not Get to Work. The Del Sol Valley pack. I forgot what it's called, but yeah, I decided to use the windows from that, either from that pack or Strangerville or the other one that I mentioned. But anyways, over here I was trying to figure out the layout for the modern house, and I decided to go with windows that are more modern looking for this house. And as you can see, I placed the windows from, I think it is from Get Together or Base Game, but it is, I mean, I basically combined two windows into one window. So as you can see, there is like three glass planes, but they consist of two windows. Actually, it's not really visible if you don't really move the camera around. But when you move the camera around, you will see like kind of this jitter-ish that comes from the middle glass panel. But I decided to go with that kind of design and just combine them together to make it look more nice. I'm not so sure if the base game has a window like that, like one, the top part of the window is long and the bottom part is basically short. And I just found the nice window that would actually give me this effect if I were to combine it with another window of the same kind. And I actually, both houses I got ideas from Pinterest, because I don't really know or like know the shape of basic houses that are not in my country, basically, if I were to not refer to Pinterest. So that would be the only way that I can actually build what I envisioned in mind or something like that. As for the roofing, as you can see, for the Victorian roofing, it is traditional roofing, but for the modern, it is basically the V-shaped roofs. Even though it doesn't really look nice because it is a tall townhouse with that kind of roofing, it looks a bit weird, but I guess it looks okay for the concept that I was going for. But other than that, the basic structure was not really challenging because they are basically mirroring one another. So the layout is the same, it's just that it's in the opposite direction. As for the roofing, I did include these beams that came with the cottage living pack, and also the other one that is from Strangerville, and just to add in a little bit more of details to each of the houses to make it look more nicer and also look more intended for the concept that I was going for, which are opposites of each other. And I also imagine that the families that live in each of these houses, they are of opposing personalities. So basically, for the traditional or Victorian house, the family that lives there is basically a young couple with their big dog, like I said. They have this personality that they are a very loving family, and also they are more towards the parenthood style type of vibe going on. But for the modern house, the family that lives there has a son, a couple and their son, and they are basically workaholics, and also they just focus more towards like the trendy style or very modern living. And I also imagine that one of the parents for the modern household is actually an interior designer, so I ended up adding a lot of clutter that is related to the interior design career, which comes from the dream home decorator pack, the DHD pack. I usually forget what it's called, but I usually call it DHD, and if I'm not mistaken, it's called Dream Home Decorator. And I got that right for the first time, by the way. But anyways, for the backyards of the house over here, you can see that I just added in some basic, basically some basic like furnitures that come with the backyard, such as trees, landscaping, and also some flower pots, and also a pathway for the Victorian house. The Victorian house also has a single outdoor sitting chair with an umbrella, but for the modern house, it has a complete set for barbecue. So they are very, very opposite. One is more towards like traditional, and the other one is more towards lifestyle and trendiness. But I really like how each of the houses turned out because it really looks nice. And I also added in some contrast to the house's personality. So basically, for the flower pots for the windows of the modern house, you can see that they are more colorful. But for the traditional Victorian house, the flower pots that I added is more basic looking, that it's coming from the Get to Work pack. So there is a bit of contrast for the exterior. For the interior, there isn't any much contrast because I wanted to stay consistent with the theme, but I thought I did add in some elements to each of the houses to make it look like it's not, there is actually some contrast in the personalities for the inside. I'm not so sure what you know what I mean, but yeah, anyways, over here we are starting off with this interior for the modern house. And the modern house, the kitchen, I really, really like it, and I really like how it turned out. I use counters from the Parenthood pack for both of the houses, and I put the counters for their kitchens and also their bathrooms. And it was easier for me to do this way since I simultaneously furnish the houses at the same time. So I didn't furnish the houses like one after the other. I just furnished them at the same time according to the sections of the house. So basically, I started off furnishing the kitchen for the modern house, and then I will be moving on to the kitchen of the more traditional house, and so on and so forth. The same thing goes with the top and bottom levels. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that both of these houses, they have 3 levels in them, so it's a bonus, I guess. I usually don't do builds like this where there are 3 floors and the middle floor is like the main floor. But yeah, that's what I had in mind, since I also put in a garage door at the bottom of the houses for each of them. I figured out why not I just make one whole level, so basically the same level. um but in my experience, in my personal experience, I haven't seen any houses that I visited, or like my friend's house, that have these type of levels. So basically you enter the house on the second level, and then there is a bottom level and a top level. Don't I haven't really experienced that type of visitation among my friends. But when I was living abroad in Germany, our house was like that. Basically, the bottom floor was the basement, and the top floor and also the topmost floor would be where the bedrooms are. And I'm not so sure if you count that as like what I described previously, but it was something like that. There were 4 floors in that house, and I kind of miss that house because it is where my childhood was basically. But over here we are moving on to the kitchen for the traditional house, and as you can see, it looks much more brighter and much more vibrant in terms of the colors that I use for the clutter, and also some details for the windows and also the wallpaper. They are basically contrasting one another for the houses, but the layout, like I said, remains the same. And basically I tried to use the same clutter for each of the houses basically, but the difference in clutter is that the Victorian or traditional house has more of this parenthood style clutter and also furniture, but the other one is more towards industrial or grungy or trendy or modern type of furniture. So that's that. And I also use this shelf from the paranormal pack because I rarely use this shelf. Honestly, I think I used this shelf only once when I built one of the houses when the paranormal kit or pack came out. And my cat is rubbing her head on my microphone, so I'm sorry if you hear any like stuffiness or anything like that. She's just going to give birth soon, and I think that's why she's like being clingy. I'm not such a like person who knows entirely about cats, but I did read some of precautions that I should take before my cat gives birth, and I think it's one of them where she's just being clingy. And I think she is going to give birth like in a day or two, because her stomach is like going to explode. It's really really big, and she's just been relaxing and just been tired, and I think she's gonna give birth soon, honestly. But anyways, moving back to the video. Over here we are moving forward with the bottom floor of the house. So basically over here is going to be the living room, and for the traditional house also there will be a living room over there. So yeah, it's kind of like the same layout, I suppose. And then the furniture is just different, where I used in this built-in shelf that came with a DHD pack, and I really like it. I was trying to figure out what color of the shelf actually fit the theme of the house. At first I wanted to go for this lighter color, but then I figured that it looks too light. And so I just moved on and just changed my mind and used the darker oaky color of the shelves. And I also put in some sofas, which are really really nice. They are combinable, but usually when I use these sofas, I don't really know how to do the layout of the sofas. I struggle with it a lot. But usually I just do an L-shaped sofa. One end is going to be like a sitting place, and the other one where your sim can rest on. But I think if I were to use this sofa to make like a hotel lobby or hotel section like that, it would really look nice because of the design, because it really looks like posh and also expensive, and I really like it. But anyways, yeah, I put in a little bit of details, and I also was trying to figure out what bookshelf I should put, but in the end I did put a shelf that came with the um Japanese pack, Snowy Escape pack. Yes, that's what it's called. And I thought that it really looked better if I were to do that than to put in a bookshelf, because if I were to put the bookshelf, it would look kind of like not the main idea that I was going for. But for the traditional house, I did end up adding in a fireplace, even though I didn't put a chimney because I forgot. You guys can definitely put in a chimney when you download this. And I was struggling with the furniture that I picked out on for this part of the build, particularly because I didn't really know what kind of furniture I wanted to go for. And the Parenthood one, the long blue one you see over here, it doesn't really have a matching like single chair in the pack, so it kind of was a struggle for me because I wanted to match the single armchairs with the longer one. But yeah, we are moving on to the final part of the houses, which is the third level where the bedrooms are, and we are starting off with the bedrooms for the modern house. And I started off with the bedrooms of the modern house, started furnishing it just simply because it is squarish, and also there are 2 rooms in here. So basically this one is the master bedroom, and then we will be furnishing the little boy or teenage son's bedroom after this, which is over here. And this is the first time or the second time I think I am using the bed from the Seasons pack, which has curtains on it, and I think it would have been better if the pack actually has the double bed version of this, and I think it would really look nice with for a double bed of this version with the curtains on it, so it really looks nice. And I believe we have that for city living, but I really would like to see the one that is from the Seasons pack that looks like that. But anyways, over here is the last part of the traditional house, and the traditional house is a 1-bedroom house, and it also has a dog bed next to the bed, and you can see that the dog bed takes up a whole lot of space when compared to the normal bed, and that was a down factor for me for this house. I didn't really like the layout, honestly. And I think it would have been better if I were to fit 2 bedrooms in this place. But anyways, that will be the end of the video, so I really hope you guys will like this build. If you do like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to. And I'm sorry if I stuttered or anything like that, it's just my voice is a little bit raspy. But anyways, I hope to talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!